One type of Super Mario merchandise that has always existed and yet doesn't get much attention is Mario-themed food. Ever since the 80s, Nintendo's properties have had various snacks and confectionaries made in their likeness, and the amount of Mario-based food products that have existed is quite substantial. From gummies to soda to Pez dispensers to cereal, Mario & Co. have been around the block when it comes to food products. Unfortunately, many of these items have been long since discontinued, so let this video serve as a reminder of great Mario food days gone by. In this video, I'll be going over a variety of nostalgic Super Mario foods and candies. I'm confident most of you will recognize at least a handful of these, so why don't we take a trip down memory lane and begin. Now, if you're talking Mario foods, it's impossible to do so without mentioning the company Awesome Candies. Their brand is pretty obscure nowadays, but if you were a Nintendo or Mario fan, especially in the 2000s, you likely remember their products. They were the people behind most of the popular Nintendo candy products from the late 90s and 2000s. Their portfolio includes the likes of the Bob-omb powder candy, Mario 3D gummies, which came in many varieties, jelly pops, marshmallow pops, bubblegum, and much more. Their range of Mario candies was quite vast and very popular, so for decades, this company produced these, going through many packaging changes as time went on. Because of how long their products were produced for, I'm sure many of you watching fondly remember at least a handful of these. One of their most popular products was this Bob-omb that had Fun Dip styled powdered candy inside, where you'd unscrew the wick of the bomb to access the candy. This was a very fun idea for a candy toy holder, because after you were done with the candy, you'd have this really awesome and accurate Bob-omb figure. This product was first released in the late 90s, probably around 1998, as that's when Awesome Candies first released their Mario goods. The Bob-ombs here looked pretty close to their depiction in Super Mario 64, with the packaging showcasing artwork from that game. Unfortunately though, these were actually pulled and banned from stores as a result of various terrorist attacks in the following years, so Awesome Candies stopped producing them, but they were later reintroduced in the mid to late 2000s with a more contemporary design. These are the ones most people remember. One of my personal favorite products they released, purely based off of how they look, were these. These were Nintendo Jelly Pops, and while I can almost guarantee they tasted disgusting, they look really cool. These are basically edible figures of Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Link. Yeah, while Awesome Candies mostly focused on Mario products, Nintendo's merchandise license in the late 90s grouped Link in with the Mario characters, so he was featured on certain products such as this, along with the Mario crew. That's also why Link is on the Kelly Toy Nintendo plush sets tag, despite that set being purely Mario. Anyway, these Jelly Pops looked really interesting to me, but they were well before my time. These were released in the late 90s, and disappeared after only a short time on shelves, so I never got to see them in person. One of the strangest aspects of old licensed food products is, their surprising collectability, whether it be nostalgia, how cool the packaging looks, or simply because you just really want to display Mario food. Many people do collect and store these products in their collection. As such, you actually can still find listings of these decade-old products, all of them still being sealed. While this is great for preserving their history, it is obviously kinda gross. I've seen many listings for brand new sealed cases of these Jelly Pops, for example, and admittedly, while working on this video, I was heavily debating buying one, but okay, I've made some pretty wild purchases for this channel in the past, but you have to draw the line somewhere, and I drew it at purchasing old, crusty, jelly Nintendo candy. I mean, what would I even do with it after I made this video? I think my favorite thing about these is their packaging. Seeing all of the N64 era artwork together is just so cool, because this is stuff we never see today. These products really capture a long gone era of Nintendo. Now, the Jelly Pops themselves? Yeah, they leave a little to be desired. Mario has this 1,000-yard stare going on, Link is very compressed, Yoshi has one of the hardest eye emoji expressions I've ever seen, and DK is just DK. Each case of these contain 3 of each character, making for 12 pops in total. So what am I gonna do with this now? Obviously I'm not gonna eat these as they're all long out of date, so for now, I guess I'll just be content with living with 12 Nintendo Jelly Pops in my house. There are worse things to spend your money on, right? Another really popular awesome product back in the day were these Super Mario 3D's gummies. Basically, they were like gummy bears having a fruity taste, but were shaped like Mario characters. Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong were captured in squishy gummy form. Unfortunately, Awesome Candies never capitalized on the ever-growing gummy Luigi market, but regardless, these were produced for years, with tons of variants on how they were released. They came in standard candy pouches, larger bags, boxes. You could find them with or without artificial coloring. They were made throughout several eras of Nintendo history. They were rebranded several times, but no release of them in my eyes compare to these. These ambitious products by Awesome Candies were candy containers that were shaped like the popular Nintendo systems of the time. There were both mini GameCube and Game Boy Advance releases that both came filled with the 3D gummies inside. In my opinion, I think these were the coolest things Awesome Candies did with the Nintendo license. I remember back in the day, even before I was super into Mario, my mom bought me one of the GameCube ones, and I just remember thinking it was the coolest thing. Much like the Bob-ombs, even after you finished the candy, you had these awesome mini replicas of iconic Nintendo consoles. I wish some company would bring this concept back, because I remember these were really popular. They even made them in different colors to match what different styles were available for the systems at the time. The candy inside of these were once again gummy, but featured different molds of the standard 3D gummies. They even lit up and played sound if you pressed the power button. How cool is that? That's not all for Awesome Candies replicating actual Mario products though. Get a load of these. These were Nintendo GameCube game holders that came with bubblegum and a sticker. These replicated the actual game boxes for various games such as Mario Superstar Baseball, Mario Power Tennis, and Mario Party 7. After you were done with your candy, you could use the cases as actual game holders. I don't know why you wouldn't just use the actual game case, but these were yet another fun and creative idea by Awesome Candies. The list goes on and on. They made Mario Candy yo-yos, these plastic ladder games with candy inside, these Pez-looking toys called Clicks, though believe me, there are plenty of genuine Mario Pez dispensers out there. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Nintendo does much with Awesome Candies nowadays, assuming the company even still exists. Their website, which looks like this, hasn't been updated since 2017, and all of their Nintendo candies don't seem to be produced anymore, being sold out everywhere. They made so much and for so long. It really is tragic if they are truly gone forever, and we'll never be able to taste the likes of Mario 3D gummies again. Sure, there are gummy alternatives, but come on. Haribo dinosaurs? Pretty good, but they're no Mario 3D gummies. Gummy Krabby Patties are a 5-course meal, but they don't taste like Diddy Kong. Whatever the fate of Awesome Candies is, it's clear their line of Nintendo confectionaries will never be forgotten. While everyone knows about the Sonic ice cream bar with gumball eyes, did you know at one point there was a Mario one as well? While the Sonic bar wasn't introduced until 1995, the Mario bar appears to be an earlier release, with this truck sticker having a copyright date of 1991. Yes, the Super Mario Bros. Bar. This one was produced for quite a few years, being introduced around the late 80s, while being discontinued in the early 2000s. At first, the packaging of the bar had this style. I obviously can't find any decade-old images of the Mario bar's original wrapper, but you can imagine what it looked like going off of this truck sticker. Featuring Super Mario Bros. 2 era artwork, this is some true vintage Mario goodness. A few years later, the packaging was updated to showcase Super Mario World artwork, and the bar was updated too, replacing its red gumball nose with, a green one? Why? Because of Yoshi? Is it to make the gumball stand out more? Were green gumballs cheaper to produce than red ones? Get this, we actually have pictures of the wrapper this time. Doesn't that just look appetizing? Mario has some white hair on this wrapper. Interesting. The bar received one more facelift in the early 2000s, now sporting yellow packaging with a Mario Kart 64 render and a new title, Ice Bar with mystery colored gumballs. This image shows that the ice cream came with a yellow gumball, and there's another image that shows it with a purple one. That might explain the green nose on the Mario World packaging too. The original red definitely suits it the best, though I'm sure this was a fun gimmick. Unfortunately, the bar went out of production shortly after this packaging was introduced, with the last batches made sometime around 2003. While I never had the chance to try one of these Mario bars, I distinctly remember that back while I was on vacation in 2011, I saw a sticker advertising this bar on an ice cream truck. I of course ended up getting a sponge bar and never asked if they had any Marios in stock, but it's interesting that truck still had the sticker, which I remember being the Mario World one, all the way until at least 2011. The bar had been discontinued for almost a decade by then. I guess they just never removed it? It's a shame this bar is no longer in circulation, given how popular these gumball-eyed bars are. If I had to guess why, I'd say it's probably due to how strange it looks. Making an accurate Mario bar would require a lot of colors, but it only uses red and white. Like yeah, it's a him Mario, but I could see it looking off-putting to many fans, especially younger ones, which this is mostly geared towards. Regardless, it's fascinating to see that Mario had one of these gumball ice cream bars, and it was even one of the first. To help hype up Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo and Kellogg's introduced the Super Mario cereal, and the world set ablaze. Back in November of 2017, the saga began with the box art for the cereal being leaked, which is pretty funny. But this was a big deal. 2017 was a huge year for Nintendo, so it was great to see they were branching out the Mario brand again in big ways. Released in late 2017 to coincide with the release of Odyssey, I'm sure Kellogg's expected this cereal to be no more special than the likes of Mario SpaghettiOs. But instead, you ever heard of a cereal selling out? See, the cereal was was first released in Super Mario Odyssey styled packaging, and it had a really interesting gimmick. As you can read here, the box actually came with an attached amiibo chip, which could be used with Super Mario Odyssey to get in-game bonuses. As funny as the idea of people using and keeping huge cereal boxes to get a few coins in a Mario game is, it really is a cool idea. If I was a kid when this came out, it would be the coolest thing to me. Being able to come home from the grocery store excited to not only have Super Mario cereal, but also be able to connect it to Mario Odyssey itself, that was such a good idea. Super Mario cereal was a smash hit, and for a while, you really couldn't find it on shelves. See, for the longest time, people were genuinely scalping these. And while that's commonplace for Nintendo products, this is cereal we're talking about. It was a really fascinating time in Nintendo history. You can still find the cereal on shelves today, albeit without the Odyssey style or amiibo functionality. The box now uses much more generic Mario art. Sure, the Mario render they use clashes with the older, simpler renders of Peach and Bowser, but it's a nice design. I also appreciate how both styles have artwork of Mario holding a spoon too. The actual cereal is pretty basic. Think Lucky Charms but with a little hint of berry. But even if the cereal is just so-so, the hype that once surrounded it will always be remembered as being so insane. Here's something cool. This is a sample box that was presumably made early on while Kellogg's was still developing the product. This is interesting to see because it lacks Mario Odyssey branding, meaning that came later and was probably Nintendo's idea. The box still features custom art of Mario holding a spoon, and the general style of it would be reworked for the re-release of the cereal. Besides that though, it seems the cereal itself was already pretty set in stone. Still though, it's always interesting to see early versions of products, even if it's cereal. It seems almost every time there's a major console or game release, a sweepstakes tie-in happens to promote it. There's the ever-popular Mountain Dew Game Fuel, which promoted games like Halo 3, countless promotions on candies like Skittles where you can win a free console, the iconic Sonic 3 Lifesavers promotion, and many more. One of the best Nintendo sweepstakes of all time, though, occurred during the Game Boy Advance era in 2002, and it was with none other than Tony's Pizza. That's right, Mario & Co. have canonically teamed up with our old friend Tony. Titled the Nintendo and Tony's Pizza Cook-Up Holiday Sweepstakes, this contest ran from December 15th, 2002 to January 15th, 2003, and offered buyers of the delicious pizza the chance to win thousands of GBA-themed prizes. 350 first-place winners received a brand new GBA system, 600 second-place winners received games such as Super Mario Advance 2, A Link to the Past, and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. If that wasn't enough, 2,000 third-place winners received GBA link cables. With odds like that, I'm sure this was a very popular promotion. While the contest was running, each Tony's Pizza box donned a Game Boy Advance side label, as well as quality renders of Mario and Luigi. Now, if you're in the market for a true Nintendo collectible, finding one of these boxes would be a miracle nowadays. This contest only ran for a month, so it's likely relatively few boxes with this design were produced. If you do find one though, let's just hope the pizza's long gone. Here's a quote from the 2002 press release regarding the contest. Kids can enjoy the ultimate situation, eating tasty Tony's Pizza while playing the latest Nintendo games. And that's a statement I have to agree with. And there you have it, an overview of some of the most popular Nintendo and Mario foods from the past. While there are still plenty I didn't mention, such as the long-running Mario SpaghettiOs or Kraft Mario Mac and Cheese, I feel this shows a good representation of what to expect when dealing with Nintendo and food. Though actually, one very iconic Nintendo food item are these mushroom tins with candy sours inside, made by Boston, America, one of the many tins with candy products made for video game licenses. These came in 3 flavors at first: raspberry blue, cherry red, and apple green. Eventually, the raspberry flavor was dropped, making that blue tin much harder to find than the rest. I actually have a very important childhood memory associated with these. Let me explain. Alright, so the last time I stepped foot in my local Blockbuster Video before they closed, they were doing their blowout sale, as the store would soon be closing. I remember walking past their candy section and seeing dozens of these mushroom tins that had been opened, but still had the candy inside. It was extremely tempting to just steal the candy, but I held back. Young me almost shoplifted during my last Blockbuster trip, but I just couldn't bring myself to steal Mario Candy Sours. You can actually still find and buy these. Well, the red and green ones at least. They're pretty good. You thankfully can still find a variety of new Nintendo food products nowadays. The Mario cereal is still going strong, and stuff like the Super Mario Wonder Ball fill the fun gimmick niche left by awesome candies. Sure, it'll always be sad that the likes of the Mario ice cream and jelly pops are no longer with us or manufactured, but we'll always be able to look back fondly on these Nintendo delectables.